Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Leslie and I talk about budgeting, decluttering, and just keeping my life together as a busy working mom. So in this video, I would actually like to talk about some of the things that I do to manage my day and my time as a busy working mom, because things can be so hectic and my day is so crazy that I have some tips that may also help you as well. So these tips involve things like productivity and time management and just things to help your household run more smoothly. And these tips don't only apply to busy working moms. If you have two jobs, if you have just a hectic schedule, maybe you're working a job and going to school at the same time, anything where your day is filled, if you're not home, if you're busy, whatever it is, these tips will help you. The first thing is such a game changer, and it is getting things ready the night before. So whatever it is you're going to do the next day, make sure you have everything together the night before. So for me, this is things like making sure my meals are ready for the next day, because I do take breakfast and lunch to work. Making sure all the breakfast stuff for my daughter is easy to reach. I can't usually make hers the night before, but I will make sure everything is clean and ready to go. Make sure that we have everything in stock. Make sure we didn't run out of bagels, whatever it is. I will pack my gym bag the night before if I'm going to the gym. I do work from home once a week, so if I just work from home like today and I'm going back to the office tomorrow, I'll make sure my laptop and my work stuff is ready at the door. I'll make sure my purse is good to go. Just anything you need for the next day, make sure it is ready to just grab and go. The next thing that really helps is having a family calendar. So this one is up to you whether you want it to be digital or physical. For us, it's really helpful to have it on the fridge. So I do just have our calendar. I write everything directly on the fridge. Actually, another thing that helps is that my daughter has a calendar in her room. So she gets really excited about holidays, but she has a hard time with counting down the days and knowing just how far a holiday is from where we are. So I will draw like a little picture, draw an Easter egg or a heart for Valentine's Day, whatever it is. So she's able to cross off each day and see how she's getting closer to the holiday. So that helps a lot. I also do it for when we do laundry once a week. I'll draw like a t-shirt on her calendar, just stuff where she can keep track of it too. Then we have our family calendar on the fridge, more for me and my husband. So if there's an appointment or if I'm working from home that day, I have it written on the calendar so he can see. One thing that is such a game changer for me, especially as someone with ADHD, is setting timers and alarms and calendar alerts. These keep my life together. You have no idea. People think I'm so on top of things all the time. I'm not. It's the alarms. Setting alarms for anything. So say I'm going to work from home the next day and I'm at the office, I will set an alarm for right when I'm leaving to make sure I take my laptop home with me and I don't leave it at work. I sell stuff on Etsy. So if I have an Etsy order come in during the day, I will set an alarm for that night to put together the Etsy order. I will set an alarm to set the post office package pickup. I will set an alarm for an appointment, a calendar reminder for an appointment. I use alarms for everything, and timers. Like I'm always setting timers. Like at the laundry, for when the laundry's done, I set my own timer. If I'm making tea, I set a timer. Any kind of alarms and timers are my best friend. I promise they are such a game changer. This is also good for if my husband wants me to remind him of something. I'm not going to keep track of that in my head. I don't need that added to my mental load. So what I do is I will schedule a text message to my husband to remind him of an appointment or to make our daughter a certain thing for dinner because he gets home first. So I will schedule texts also. That's a big one. So anything that you can like schedule or have a way to remind yourself, use that. It will take it out of your head so that it really helps with your mental load. You can just let it go. Or if you're just forgetful, it also helps with that too. The next thing is to divide and conquer with your partner. I know this can be difficult because some people unfortunately don't have a partner who is on board with helping them, but whether that's your situation or if you're a single mom where you're doing it by yourself, maybe you can find a friend or a family member to help you out with this. So one thing we'll do is my husband will keep an eye on our daughter while I'm doing some cleaning so she's not getting in the way, or we divide up chores, especially ones that revolve around her. So things like I will take her to preschool in the morning. He picks her up in the afternoon. I make her breakfast. He makes her dinner. Just anything like that where you can divide and conquer. Same with chores. Although to be fair, chores is a big source of conflict in our family. It's like one of the few things that we tend to kind of argue about, because when I was a stay-at-home mom, I was able to do everything. But now that I'm not, my husband needs to help out a little bit more too. And he's just not great with cleaning. So what we ended up doing was hiring a cleaning service. So that's one thing you can do too if you can't divide and conquer with someone. Just outsource things. Do what you can, whatever's in your budget to outsource. So stuff like a cleaning service. I guess you could even do a meal service, but those tend to be a little bit pricey. Just take a look at some of your biggest problem areas and see what you can do about those. Another thing that is really essential if you are busy or if you have a family is to have routines. These make things so easy, especially if you have kids, because then they know what to expect. So we have a morning routine, an evening routine. We actually have a bit of a weekend routine, particularly on Sundays, because we're getting ready for the week coming up. So just have routines in place. This way you don't even have to think about things. You know what the next step is because you're used to that routine. And also have your partner on board with these routines also, so that you can kind of split things up with the divide and conquer like I mentioned. Another one that this is really just a random tip, but whenever you open food that's going to expire like quickly within the next week or so, write the date that you opened it, because I don't know how many times I've opened milk and it's been a while and I'm like, when did I open this? Is this still good? I mean, you can do the smell test or whatever, but I think it just comes in handy to write the date on the item. This way you don't lose track of it. Especially if you're living with more than one person who's eating the same food as you, just write the date you open it so that they know as well. And if it's been like a week or whatever the expiration is, you can go ahead and throw it out. So similar to that, and the family calendar thing would be to have a shopping list on the fridge. So this way, if you have a family and you're running out of something, everyone in your family is able to write stuff on the shopping list. So if it's something you don't see, then maybe they wrote it on there for you. I know this was an issue with my husband, where he might finish something or notice that we were out of something and I wouldn't. So then I order groceries and then he's like, hey, where's the rice? I'm like, wait, we're out of rice? What? So this way he writes it on the shopping list and then I see it and it's just easy peasy. I just go through the list. So that is a big one. And I use it for myself because I'm not going to remember what we're out of either. So I need to write it down. The next two involve preparing for your week. So this is meal prepping is a big one, and outfit prepping. So for meal prep, like I said, I take breakfast and lunch to work. So I usually, on Sunday, I'll prep my lunches for the week, and it's almost always something in the slow cooker. So I'll make like a slow cooker soup or a pot roast, pulled chicken, whatever it happens to be. And then I have my week worth of lunches. I'm totally fine eating the same thing every day. I know not everyone is. So it may be easier for you to prep like half a week at a time. I do that sometimes with things that don't last through the whole week. I'll prep on Sunday night for the first half of the week and then prep again on like Wednesday. I definitely do this for my breakfast because I tend to do like breakfast sandwiches or breakfast quesadillas, and those are not going to last. If I make them on Sunday, they're not going to last till Friday. They're going to be disgusting. So I'll prep for usually like 2 days at a time. I usually have my work from home day on Wednesday so that it splits up my week and makes it a lot easier, but not always. So sometimes I will have to prep for the whole week. So just, break it up as best you can. You know your schedule, and when you have a little extra time, it might mean that one day of the week is a little more hectic because you're preparing for the second half of the week, but it's better than having to do stuff every night. And similar to that is the outfit prep. So what I do is my closet has like two like rods where I can hang my clothes. So I have most of my clothes on one side, and then I move my outfits for the week to the other side. So it's really helpful. I have my whole outfits planned out for the week. I also do this for my daughter with her preschool clothes. So I'll have all of her preschool clothes planned out for the week. So they're all right there in her little basket, good to go, and I just grab it each day. Sometimes I even put her pants and undershirt on the night before, so that can be really helpful. The only problem is if they get it dirty, so I have to do this right before she goes to bed, because if I do it earlier in the day, she might spill food on it. So that's the only thing to watch out for that, because I think it was just a few days ago where I put her in her clothes for the next day and she spilled applesauce all over her pants. So that sucked, especially because we don't have laundry in our apartment. We have to go to the laundromat. So, and she doesn't have that many pairs of pants. So yeah, that's just one thing to note. One thing that I struggle with, I kind of mentioned, was cleaning. I have a hard time staying on top of cleaning. So one thing I will do is just have a quick cleanup every night. So take a few minutes to just go around the apartment, maybe do a quick sweep, take the toys to the bedroom. I always make my daughter clean her bedroom before bed, so at least her room is always clean. So just doing a quick, like, 5-10 minute cleanup every night can at least help you stay somewhat on track with things that get really dirty, like wiping down the table and sweeping up, stuff like that. So one thing that really comes in handy is a consistent sleep schedule. So a consistent sleep and wake time, especially for your little ones, but also for yourself. Since my daughter was probably 8 months old, we had her on a really consistent sleep schedule. And then once I went back to work, I put myself on a consistent sleep schedule because it just makes such a big difference. One thing that's kind of interesting is a lot of people would have an issue with us keeping her on such a strict schedule. They would be like, they would want to do something during her nap time or something where she would stay up later, and we just wouldn't allow it because we were so strict with her sleep schedule. But it's because if she skipped a nap, she would just get tired early, go to bed early, wake up early. It was just such a mess, and she'd be cranky the whole time. Or if we let her sleep in too late, she would try to stay up too late, and everything would just get off track. So we were just so strict with that because it was better for our whole family. Even now that she's in preschool, we keep her on the same strict schedule. So she is awake by 6:30 on weekdays. We do let her sleep in until 7 on the weekends, which probably still sounds pretty early because it is, but she's going to bed at the same time. So if she sleeps in too late, then she'll want to stay up late and everything will just get off track. Also, I really like her having a consistent bedtime because then at least I get like an extra half hour or so to kind of relax at the end of the day, because I do go to bed early. My schedule is pretty intense. I'm up at 6, leave at 7. I don't get home until 7. And then I go to bed at I think I'm laying in bed reading at 9, and then I fall asleep at like 9:30. So my schedule is pretty tight. So I also don't want her going to bed later because then that'll run into my bedtime. I don't want to be staying up later because I need my sleep. So just having a consistent sleep schedule is really important. My husband isn't as great with having a consistent schedule, although he said on days where he is more consistent, he does feel better. So I think it's something that's important for everybody, but essential if you have a busy schedule because you don't want to be super tired the next day. The next thing that is really essential if you are busy is to track your expenses or budget. At the very least, I would say track your expenses, because if part of the reason you're so busy is because you're working, you want to make sure that your hard-earned money is going to things that you really value and what you really want to buy or spend your money on. So it's really important to see where your money's going, see what you're working towards. So maybe there are things where your hard-earned money is going to stuff that you're not using, like subscriptions you're not using. Maybe you're buying things you don't need and you don't use, just whatever it is. It is so important to budget and find out where your money's going. Another thing that I think is really important, but I know it can be so hard to do when you're busy, but have time that is completely yours. Time, just me time. It is so important. I know for someone like me, I am a bit more introverted, so it's very important for me to have time where everything is quiet, there is no one around me, I can just chill and be alone. Sometimes it's just me getting to work a little early and spending like a half hour in my car just reading or watching YouTube or whatever, editing videos, whatever it happens to be. And then I usually do it at the end of the night too, where as I mentioned, I'll go to bed like half an hour early so that I can read before bed. So just being able to lay there and chill. I know this is really hard if you are busy, especially if you have a family, but maybe it's possible for your partner to watch your kid or kids while you do something else. We do that sometimes on weekends where we'll switch off on our me time. So I might have a couple hours in the morning, he might get a couple hours in the afternoon, where we just split up time so that we can work on if there's a project we want to do, if we want to read, if we want to 3D print a whole bunch of stuff. That's what he's doing lately. But whatever it happens to be, it is so important to just have a little bit of time to yourself for whatever you want to do. I know one thing that's really valuable in my household is who gets to choose what to watch on TV. So we don't watch that much TV, to be honest, but when it's on, it's usually something my daughter has picked out, or at least something that is family friendly. So it can be fun sometimes to be able to just watch what I want without having to consider anyone else. So just little things like that where you get to choose what you're doing with your time. So it doesn't belong to your workplace, it doesn't belong to the rest of your family, it only belongs to you and what you want to do. So I really hope that this video has helped you out and maybe given you some ideas. It can be so hard to learn how to manage your time, especially if you're new to being busy. I know that this definitely took me a lot of trial and error. It's not something that I just figured out overnight. I used to go to school and work at the same time. I had 2 jobs for a while, and then now being a working mom, it's just I've had all these times where I've had such a busy schedule that I've learned things over the years, but I'm sure there are some things that I'm missing that I didn't mention. If you have any ideas, please let me know, because I am always looking for ways to make my life easier. And I'm sure everyone else is as well. So if there's anything you can think of, please just drop a comment. If you like this kind of content, please remember to like and subscribe. It definitely helps out the channel. And if you do leave a comment, I will be sure to reply. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate every single person who watches my videos because I am such a small channel right now. So thank you, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.